Welcome back. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of Dota 2 and exploring the epic clash between the Navi and Alliance. The legendary rivalry between Navi and Alliance, a definitive chronicle in the rich history of Dota 2 sports. Few rivalries have captured the imagination of fans quite like the battles between Navi and Alliance. More than just a competition between two teams, this rivalry symbolized a clash of ideologies, styles, and personalities that defined the formative years of the professional Dota 2 scene. From heart-stopping matches at the International 2013 to the cultural phenomenon of El Clasico, this rivalry remains etched in the annals of a sports lore. This article explores 10 defining facts about the Navi-Alliance rivalry, weaving together history, strategy, statistics, and community culture to illustrate why this duel became a cornerstone of competitive gaming. 1. The Clash of Titans at the International 2013. The origin of the Navi-Alliance rivalry can be traced to one of the most dramatic showdowns in a sport's history, the grand final of the International 2013 T3. At this point, Navi was already a household name in Dota 2. They had won the International 2011 and were the runners-up in 2012, making them the most consistent team in the game's premier tournament. Alliance, on the other hand, was the new powerhouse of Swedish squad that had risen to prominence with disciplined strategies and nearly flawless execution. The TI3 Grand Final was a best-of-5 thriller that went the full distance, culminating in an unforgettable Game 5 that lasted over 75 minutes. Alliance's mastery of split-push strategies, famously executed by Admiral Bulldog's Nature's Prophet, and Esfer's opportunistic plays, clashed with Navi's aggressive teamfight approach led by Dendi, Puppey, and Kuroki. The series featured massive momentum swings, iconic IO relocates by Navi, and nail-biting base races that kept fans breathless. When the dust settled, Alliance triumphed 3-2, claiming the Aegis of Champions and $1.4 million in prize money. That final is widely regarded as one of the greatest matches in a sport's history, not just for its technical brilliance, but for the emotional intensity it generated. It cemented both teams as titans and ignited a rivalry that would span years. 2. A rivalry of contrasting philosophies. What made this rivalry so compelling was not just the stakes, but the stark contrast in playstyles. Navi, with their Ukrainian and CIS core, epitomized aggression and creativity. They thrived on fast-paced rotations, high-tempo fights, and daring initiations. Their games were spectacles of chaos, often hinging on individual brilliance and team synergy. Alliance, in contrast, embodied precision and calculation. Their hallmark was split-pushing, a strategy focused on applying pressure at multiple lanes, perfected by Admiral Bulldog's Nature's Prophet and Loda's disciplined farming. They avoided unnecessary engagements, instead dismantling opponents with surgical efficiency, forcing Navi to constantly adapt. This clash of ideologies, brute force versus sky, added layers of intrigue to every encounter. Fans weren't just watching two teams battle. They were witnessing a philosophical duel, a debate over what style of Dota was superior. 3. El Clasico of Dota 2. The rivalry's significance earned it the moniker El Clasico, borrowing terminology from football's iconic Real Madrid versus Barcelona fixture. Like its namesake, this matchup became a cultural event in its own right. Every time Navi and Alliance faced off, regardless of tournament stakes, it carried the weight of history and expectation. Memes and community hype amplified this phenomenon. Twitch chats and Reddit threads would explode with El Clasico spam whenever these two teams appeared in the same bracket. Even during periods when both squads struggled competitively, their matches retained a nostalgic allure. Ironically, as their dominance waned, some fans jokingly rebranded the rivalry as El Trashico, a tongue-in-cheek acknowledgement that even legends can falter. Yet, the enduring popularity of the term underscores the cultural footprint of this historic duel. 4. Statistical deadlock. 31-31. At one point, the rivalry achieved perfect statistical symmetry, 31 wins apiece in individual games. This numerical parity symbolized the balance and unpredictability that defined their head-to-head clashes. Neither team could claim outright supremacy, and every series felt like a coin flip effect that heightened the drama and kept fans on edge. Such equilibrium is rare in a sports rivalries, where dominance often swings heavily to one side. For Navi and Alliance, this equilibrium made their encounters legendary. 5. Rivalry in numbers beyond the 31-31 deadlock. Broader data illustrates the ebb and flow of supremacy between these giants. Across 9 major series, Alliance holds a slight edge with 5 series wins to Navi's 4, and a cumulative map score of 13-9 in their favor across major series at the height of their rivalry. Prize pool implications were equally significant. When both teams attended the same events, their relative placements often determined hundreds of thousands of dollars in winnings. While Navi outearned Alliance overall thanks in part to their T1 victory, Alliance frequently placed higher during their peak years. Numbers tell a story, but in this rivalry, they also conceal the emotional roller coaster behind each statistic, the base races, last-second buybacks, and game-changing misplays that swung fortunes in moments. 6. High-stakes eliminations. The rivalry wasn't confined to group stages or inconsequential matches. It repeatedly unfolded in high-stakes contexts. Both teams have eliminated each other from tournaments multiple times, often in playoffs or semifinals. One memorable example was during the Dream League Season 1 finals, where Navi knocked Alliance out in dramatic fashion, reminding fans that their hunger for revenge after T3 remained unquenched. Conversely, Alliance returned the favor in subsequent events, proving that their supremacy was not a one-time phenomenon. Each elimination carried emotional weight, fueling narratives of redemption, vengeance, and pride. These storylines gave fans reasons to stay invested long after the T3 showdown. 7. Mutual respect beyond competition. Despite the ferocity of their in-game rivalry, the relationship between Navi and Alliance players was characterized by mutual respect and even friendship. Post-match interviews often featured warm exchanges, shared jokes, and acknowledgments of each other's brilliance. One enduring image from T3 shows players from both teams smiling and chatting moments after the grueling final, a testament to the sportsmanship that underpinned their rivalry. This camaraderie humanized the competition, reminding fans that behind the avatars and team tags were individuals united by a shared passion for Dota. 8. Legendary rosters and iconic players. No discussion of this rivalry is complete without celebrating the players who gave it life. On the Navi side stood luminaries like Daniel Dendi Ishutin, whose punch plays became synonymous with creativity. Clement Puppy Ivanov, the mastermind drafter and captain. And Kurokuroki Salehi Takasomi, whose versatility elevated Navi's strategies. Alliance countered with its own pantheon, Jonathan Lotta Berg, the steadfast carry and charismatic leader. Henrik Admiral Bulldog Onberg, the prophet of split push, Gustav S. for Magnussen, the master of mid-lane rotations and infamous million-dollar dream coil. And the support duo of Jerry EGM Lundqvist and Joachim Actor Hall, whose synergy anchored Alliance's precision play. These names weren't just players, they were icons who shaped metas, inspired millions, and defined what it meant to be a professional Dota to competitor. 9. Evolution of the rivalry. As the years rolled on, the rivalry evolved. Both teams faced roster changes, periods of decline, and challenges adapting to shifting metas. By 2015-2016, neither Navi nor Alliance occupied the same dominant positions they once held, and their head-to-head encounters became less about crowning the best team in the world and more about recapturing lost glory. Yet, nostalgia sustained the rivalry. Fans continued to flock to matches labeled El Clásico, not because of title implications, but because of the history they represented. Even in diminished form, the rivalry remained a celebration of Dota's golden era. 10. A legacy that endures today. The Navi Alliance rivalry stands as a cornerstone of a sports storytelling. It taught us that rivalries are not built solely on wins and losses, but on narratives of triumph and heartbreak, innovation and adaptation, respect and rivalry. The TI3 Grand Final remains a rite of passage for new fans, a YouTube recommendation that pulls them into the lore. The memes, the montages, the Reddit threads, they all testify to the enduring power of this rivalry. Even if neither team dominates today, their legacy lives on in every high-stakes Dota to match that aspires to capture the same magic. Conclusion: the rivalry between Navi and Alliance was more than a series of matches. It was a saga that blended sport with theater, skill with strategy, and competition with community. It produced moments that defined an era and players who became legends. In the grand tapestry of esports, this duel will forever remain one of its brightest threads. Thanks for joining me on this journey through Dota 2. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more cinematic insights.